Hello everyone, Ben Rono here and welcome to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. Now what I'm here to talk about today is I'm here to give you my reactions to the Nintendo Switch conference that we had last night. So, let's start off with the basics. The system's having a worldwide launch on March 3rd in pretty much all territories, so that sounds great. It's coming out quicker than we even thought it was going to. Next, it's going to be launching with a base price of $299, which kind of bites because we all expected it to be cheaper. $249 was the going rumor, and now it's going to be more expensive than that. It's going to be button heads directly with the Xbox One and PS4, both of which have superior graphical power. So, we have to see how that plays out. Next, we went into basically they're going to have an online service where you can chat with friends, which I guess means that they're finally adding voice chat, which hopefully it means that they're adding voice chat 15 years after everybody else. So that'll be nice. And then, unfortunately, though, the online service is going to be paid, so the last of the free online consoles is going to be done. I mean, last generation you had the Wii U to pick from, and that game you could play all your games online for free. But now with the Nintendo Switch, you're SOL. I mean, as one saving grace, we're not going to have to start paying for online till about the fall of 2017. But I don't really know if I have confidence in Nintendo to be able to keep up with what Sony and Microsoft are doing on the online end, and I don't even feel like paying for their online service, so, I mean, we'll see how that plays out. And then, let's see what else we got here. Nintendo made a big deal out of this, but they're getting rid of region locking in general, which I don't know what the in general part means. They should just do away with it and not come up with any reservations, but they left the door open for region locking, which kind of makes the announcement pointless. Next, we got the battery life of the system, which was between 2.5 and 6.5 hours, which is just a massive gap. I mean, imagine if you bought a smartphone and the reviews said it lasts between 1 to 3 days. I mean, well, that's a massive, massive difference, and it doesn't even seem believable, but, I mean, most of the games, like, that are going to be running the system at full tilt, I'm guessing will be using more battery power, like Breath of the Wild, so, if I have to take Breath of the Wild on the go and only lasts 2.5 hours, it's going to be pretty piss poor in regards to battery life, but we'll have to wait till the reviews come out to see how it actually boils down. Okay, and then this, I can't believe I have to say this, but there's a capacitive touchscreen on the on the Nintendo Switch, and which, everybody else got a capacitive touchscreen 10 years ago, but now finally Nintendo's getting one, which, I mean, good for Nintendo. If they had a resistive touchscreen, I probably would have flipped a table. And Alright, so then what's really cool with the Nintendo Switch is that you can connect different Switch systems up for local multiplayer, and you can still do the 2 controllers on the side, so you can hook up to a possible 8 Nintendo Switch systems, just like the Atari Lynx. But with the Switch, you can also then separate the controllers, so then you can actually have up to 16 people playing around a table with all their Nintendo Switch systems, which is nuts. I don't know how many times it's going to happen, probably once a year, but it's nice to have there. Okay, so then the controllers are kind of unique. So the right controller, the right Joy-Con, which you can separate, that's what they're called, by the way, Joy-Cons. The right one has an NFC reader for reading amiibos, Whoopee. The left one's going to have a share button so you can share screenshots, and they say video sharing is going to come later on. Besides that, both of the controllers work completely independently, and then basically on the stack where it connects to the system, there's the LNR triggers. And you can also get a lanyard strap to make them a bit more ergonomic. Besides that, each controller is going to have an accelerometer and gyro sensor, same stuff you're used to in the phone. And then besides that, they're also going to have a motion sensor pointing out the bottom of the controller, which they say can differentiate between rock, paper, and scissors. Which I don't know what the purpose of that motion camera is going to be at the bottom. Maybe it helps them to do better motion tracking when you're flailing the controller around. I can't see a lot of uses for it yet, though. And then, let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, they also have something called HD Rumble, which, I mean, they said it could basically simulate weight, which didn't make much sense. I guess it's something you'll just have to try out. The HD Rumble sounds cool, but I'm on the fence about whether or not I think it's actually going to be that great. Now, they did show off a lot of games. Now, I'm going to have to look at my notes a lot here, but I'm going to go over some of the important games that they showed off. First off, I have to preface this by saying the launch lineup, systems that, games that are actually going to be at launch are looking pretty weak. If you look at Nintendo's YouTube channel, you can see Super Bomberman R, Puyo Pop Tetris, and then there's a lot of trailers for games that aren't coming out till later in the year. So, the launch lineup, it's going to be highlighted by one game. Now, let's see here. So, there's that 1-2 Switch game, which is basically takes advantage of the unique qualities of the controller. They showed in the beginning basically two people lining up to draw like in an old western, and they would put up their controller and hit the trigger, and whoever did it faster shot the other guy and won the competition. So that looked pretty fun. And 1-2 Switch, I'm actually guessing will be a pack-in because it looks to take advantage of a lot of the Switch controller features. So looking forward to seeing that. It's going to be like sort of a Nintendo Land, sort of a Wii Sports type game. And then next game they showed off was Arms, which you basically use both controllers and you can tilt them to move your to move your character around, and you actually thrust them forward to do punches. And if you twist the controller while punching, it's going to do like a hook shot from the side. The game looks very involved, and it looks like a lot of fun. It's kind of like if you played Tolero Boxer with actual controls. So it looks fun. They said there was online play, which I don't know how they're going to deal with latency with online playing for something which is supposed to feel like you're right there. But I'm optimistic about the game, but it could turn out to be crap. Who knows? Next, they showed off Splatoon 2, which you can use the controller, the Joy-Con, to actually point your little pea shooter gun thing. Besides that, they didn't really demonstrate a lot of gameplay innovations. It sounds like it's mostly going to be just playing with the physical controls like you're used to. But I know there's a lot of Splatoon fans out there, so a new game should excite you. Oh, and then the next game they showed off was Super Mario Odyssey, which really threw me off in the beginning because it starts off with showing Mario in Manhattan, which I don't know why they did that, but sounds like Mario's going to be in Manhattan or other major cities for parts of the game. And they showed him jumping off the hood of a car, and it looks like a barrel of fun. The graphics look amazing. There is time in the regular Toadstool world as well, so don't worry about that. But game looks incredible, and it looks like it's going to break new ground. Although they did say that it's going to be a Mario 64 style sandbox where you're going to be able to go into different levels, and there's going to be a lot of variety. So looking forward to that. Super Mario Odyssey really impressed me. I'm looking forward to playing that game. And then next they showed off Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which one concern I have is that when they first started showing it off, the frame rate slowed to a crawl. So hopefully when they get the game out, it runs smoothly. But the game graphically looks amazing. From a story perspective, the characters look very engaging. So Xenoblade 2, they didn't give a release date on that, but it looks like a good game for when it does come out. So And by the way, a lot of the big name titles aren't going to be coming out until the summer or the fall, so a lot of these really big titles that were announced today aren't even going to be there at launch. Next, we have Fire Emblem Warriors. Now, Fire Emblem Warriors, I'm hoping it's not like Hyrule Warriors, because I honestly found that game way too boring and repetitive. And plus, we've got Dragon Quest Heroes, and it's a sloth of Dynasty Warriors reskins, and it's just getting old. So hopefully they do something unique with it, and it's just a really good Fire Emblem game and not just a recycled idea. And then besides that, they showed a lot of games that were in development. There was Dragon Quest X, 11. There was Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. The next game was actually powered by Unreal Engine 4. That was Shin Megami Tensei by Atlas, so that looks great. Square Enix is also teased a RPG, which used like 2D sprites in 3D environments, which, I mean, I guess started with Paper Mario style, which I love Paper Mario, so kind of hit my sweet spot there. I love the RPGs too, so that game is called Octopath Traveler, and can't wait to see more of that game, because that game looks great. And then Sega didn't actually say any games at the conference, but they're coming out with Sonic Project Mania in 2017. That's going to be on the Switch. They're also coming up with Puyo Pop Tetris, and hopefully some more games from Sega will come. Also, Skyrim was announced, the remastered version for the Switch, and probably the weakest part was they had the EA CEO come up, and it's like, wow, yeah, you were so there for the Wii U. You came up with Zombie U and then dropped support for the Wii U immediately, but they're completely behind the Switch. Don't second guess their judgment. They're not going to be there for long, but they got up there and they announced FIFA. Yes, FIFA. So if you're a real big FIFA fan, you're happy that EA was there. And then there's a whole ton of other games, which, again, I'm going to link to the Switch page in the description so you can read more about them, but those are sort of the gist of the really good ones they showed off. And then the last thing that they did was they teased Breath of the Wild, which they didn't sound like they were going to give a release date. They just kept bouncing the question back and forth, but eventually they did. The release date for Zelda Breath of the Wild will be in conjunction with the Nintendo Switch on March 3rd. And the game looks fantastic. And the thing is, the graphics are amazing. The story looks incredible. I mean, up until this point, I thought that The Wind Waker had the best story of a Zelda game, but I mean, this game even looks to top that. It's definitely a more mature story, and the voice actors are really good too. And I can't wait to see the game in action. And the thing is, though, it's a launch title, which, honestly, it would have made more sense to have Super Mario Odyssey as the launch title, because that has a lot more widespread appeal. Breath of the Wild is more of a hardcore game, but I mean, it's good. It's there nonetheless, and it looks amazing. And if I pick up a Switch on launch day, that's going to be the only game I get. Can't wait to play more of it. But anyway, that is it for the Nintendo Switch press conference and my reactions to it. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and looking forward to March 3rd. Bye now.